fertilizers, as most of you know, fertilizers are, broadly speaking, artificially made. Right now, the fun is there are natural fertilizers, there are chemical fertilizers. Right? Akshat, can you tell me what are natural fertilizers and what are chemical fertilizers?
Ma'am, chemical fertilizers are fertilizers which are made chemically or in labs. Like some chemicals which they spray and can make the things unhealthy. But natural fertilizers are like when you store banana peels or any other waste from the things you use in your daily life, like food. It becomes kind of like a soil type thing. So that can become like a very efficient manure.
But
And
you're talking about manure. Akshat, that's the reason why I said, if you're talking about banana peel which will decompose, you're talking about compost then. I'm talking about natural fertilizers. You're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost there, Akshat. Go tell me, Ronak.
Ma'am, I don't think there is any organic fertilizer because no fertilizer are produced in lab. So how can they be organic?
See, that's the reason why I opened the statement saying that these are made in factories. So, who said that you can't take eggshells or you can't take animal manure and you can't take banana peel and make it in the factory in a huge scale? You can.
Can I try to explain?
Yes, Naisha.
Like manure is generally manure is generally like made from like what we use at home naturally, while natural fertilizers are like made of the natural substances that were not obtained naturally.
No, that are obtained naturally, but it's just that they are made in the factories.
Yeah.
And many a times, because many a times what we do at home is that if you have noticed that we might take banana peel, we might take vegetable peel, and we try and decompose them, right? But you will also find that many a time it doesn't work because there might be a bacterial infestation, right? So it might not always turn to a good compost. Instead of a compost, you will see that the plant has died because it got infected with all bacteria or a fungal infection. So, but if this process can be done on a large scale without any mistake, using proper guidelines and proper measures in a factory, and it can be done in a huge scale, then that's good, no? All the eggshells that are being collected which are thrown away and being collected are being picked up. All the, animal bones, all the animal waste that are being disposed, that can be collected, that can be processed, dried, all under the, guidance of, proper technicians, and can be done on a huge scale. Then it can be said that this is a natural fertilizer. But when it is done by an unskilled person, it is done in the farm itself, it is done in the local area, then it's a manure. Right? Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, but what we do in skilled and organic fertilizers?
So natural fertilizers and organic fertilizers are almost the same. In organic fertilizers, there is absolutely no use of chemicals. In natural fertilizers, there would be still a little chemical because, as I said, there would be many bacteria and fungus that would be growing the moment there is an animal waste or a banana peel, rotten vegetables. So to kill the bacteria, of course, they will use some chemicals. Though the source is natural, but they will use certain chemicals so that there is no fungus or bacteria. But in an organic fertilizer, there would be absolutely no use of chemicals. It will be completely organic. That's the difference between natural and organic. Is this clear to all? There's a very thin line of difference between natural fertilizer, organic fertilizer, and manure.
Ma'am?
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, but I mean, chemical fertilizers also use the natural substances.
No.
For
No, chemical fertilizers, the word itself says that, okay, just take it into consideration that fertilizers are artificially made in a factory. But out of that, natural fertilizer uses natural stuff from the nature, and chemical fertilizers uses chemicals, total chemicals. All the sodium, all the nitrogen, which is like nitrogen powder which is produced in the factory. But here the nitrogen comes from animal manure, animal waste.
okay,
Here the phosphorus is made in the lab. Here the phosphorus comes from the animal bones and then processed in the factory. The source here is chemical, the source here is natural. Is it clear now to all?
yes, ma'am.
Everybody is on the same page. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Please let me know, because this is the only thing which all of you need to get clear, because this chapter is very easy except for this twist here. Let me know if you want me to do a recap. I'll do that.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, you said that in natural fertilizers there are skilled people for the maintenance of the organic.
Factories. Yes,
Yes,
because in factories we have workers, no? There are lab technicians and everything. So they know that how much amount of antibacterial is to be used in so many kilos of banana peel so that there is no fungal infection.
ma'am, but without bacteria there would be no means the decomposition of that.
Yeah, so there would be certain good bacteria, there would be certain bad bacteria. So they have to they have to identify the bad bacteria, because there would be certain bacteria which would be harmful for the plant if they use this fertilizer. If you
Yes,
have seen, there are certain plants which have a fungal disease. They cannot afford that fungus to have in this fertilizer, no? So what if it is natural? It has to be the perfect fertilizer so that in doing one good thing, but it will give growth to fungus, fungal infection mein plants mar jayega. No use. So they have to identify, they take a sample of the natural fertilizer and then they do a lab test in test tubes. Ki what all composition is there. If it's good, then passed. If it is bad, then they will identify and kill that bad bacteria or fungus. And then use the certain chemicals to kill or to improve the germs. If it lacks good bacteria, it will add chemicals so that the good bacteria grows. Natural fertilizer still uses chemicals. Organic fertilizers do not use chemicals at all.
yes, ma'am.
Okay? So here the chemical fertilizers are basically inorganic fertilizers. Everything right from the beginning till the end, everything is produced in the lab. Okay? Okay. Who will help me read out the difference between manures and fertilizers? Ronak, I know you're very keen. I really want to give opportunity to others as well. Varnika, Veda, can you read out?
Sure. Manu, the first one. These are natural organic substances, fertilizers. These are inorganic salt made by humans. Manure. These are rich in humus but not in inorganic. Fertilizers. These are rich in inorganic nutrients but do not contain humus. Manures. These are prepared in fields. Fertilizers. These are prepared in factories.
So does this point ring a bell in everybody's mind when I said that factories make fertilizer, F for fertilizer, F for factories? Please remember. Manure is made in the fields, directly on the site, in the fields, in the garden, wherever you're putting manure, there only it's made. But fertilizers will come in a huge gunny bag from the factories. Okay?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the first point of fertilizer, it is
just ignore that portion. Just ignore that portion, huh? Because it is a little complicated. Basically, all the chemicals, they are trying to say that all the chemicals that they get, no? to make artificial fertilizers. It all comes from the earth only. So that's why they have used the word humans, but actually it will be earth.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Veda, go ahead.
Manures. Manure is not nutrient specific. It only removes the general deficiency of the soil.
Correct. One minute, huh? So, for example, you've prepared a manure where there is cow dung, there is bone meal, there is blood meal. For example, 20% cow dung, 70% of this, 10% of this. Can you tell me how much of nitrogen, how much of phosphorus, and how much of potassium it is there?
Ma'am, can't.
Can't tell. Whereas, because as I said, fertilizers are made in the factory, so the lab technicians know that I have put, 2 kgs of potassium in it. I have put 10 kgs of nitrogen in it. This is measurable. This is not measurable. That's one difference. So if you want to plant certain paddy, where you need very rich amount of nitrogen, you have to put manure blindly because you don't know that manure has what or not. But if you put fertilizers, you're putting a fertilizer NPK which has got this much percent of nitrogen, which is very good for your paddy. So this is very informed decision. This is not so informed decision. You're putting it blindly. There's good and bad. Manure is good, it doesn't harm your health. But fertilizer will harm your health, that is also true. So you have to weigh out that what is good, what is bad in the long run and then use it. Okay. Point number 5, Veda.
Okay. Manures. Manure is not readily soluble in water, thus it is absorbed by the plants slowly. Fertilizers. Fertilizers are soluble in water and are readily absorbed by the plants. Manures. Manures do not cause pollution. Fertilizers cause water pollution.
Correct. Who would explain me the last point? Varnika, can you explain me?
Well, manures are like soluble in water, so they get mixed and they won't cause any pollution. I'm not actually sure about the last point.
Okay, Ronak?
Yes. Ma'am, manures are. Ma'am, can I first explain fertilizers? Ma'am, fertilizers cause of water pollution, ma'am, because when we spray fertilizers in fields and ma'am, for irrigation we spray water, then they mix with the water and seep into the soil and they cause soil pollution and water pollution.
Correct. It seeps into the soil, percolates down, it goes to the groundwater. And where does the groundwater go?
Ma'am, in the water table, sea.
In the sea, in the oceans, so correctly. So just imagine the farmer is applying chemical fertilizers in his field and the after effect is going till the sea. Right? So maybe there the fishes are having all those chemicals and that fish we are eating. So just imagine the after effects of fertilizers. It could have been good for the plant, but it is not good for the animals and for the human beings, no?